Hi, everyone. I'm Olympian Carrie Tollefson, and I was a member of the broadcast team today for the New Balance Fifth Avenue Mile. And now I'm stepping in for Rob and Bex as I get to interview the champions, Gracie Morris and Yared Nuguse. Gracie took the women's pro field, and Yared took the men's pro field. Our two Americans were the first to sweep the races, so that means the two Americans won the race together since 2016. It's the first time we've had Americans on the women's side and on the men's side win. So that's kind of a cool stat. They both ran the third fastest times ever for the races. So that's another cool stat. And then listen to this one. On the men's side, 23 men broke 4 minutes. Wowza, so fast. And on a day that we didn't know it was going to be that fast. It was raining. It was a little bit slippery out there. So it was just an awesome day. And I'm so excited for you to hear their post-race interviews. Maybelline New York, the official cosmetic partner of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon. Get a bold look that lasts with Superstay Matte Ink. Focus on your finish. Maybelline has your look covered. Yared, third fastest ever. I don't know if you realize that.
I did not. No, I was.
Yes.
Track.
So you won today. You run the third fastest time ever. And the same for Gracie. She ran the third time.
Nice.
Third fastest.
Twinning.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the race. So I have to tell you, we were sort of laughing after because we got so excited in the booth that we didn't even let Ryan, who was the official play-by-play, Ryan Field, Alicia Montano and myself, we were like shouting so loud over each other. We saw Parker coming, and then you were there, and it was so fun. So can you walk us through your race just a little bit?
Yeah, so that first quarter, I felt like I was very relaxed and comfortable. Started off strong, got out ahead of everyone, and, felt pretty good.
Yeah.
That second quarter with the hill, I think, was very hard.
The quads start talking.
Yes, I feel like, I jogged the hill, but I never, sprinted it, and I think that just felt very different. I think we were all just, no one was, really grinding up this hill or anything. And I kind of thought about going for, the halfway bonus, and I was like, no, I should just focus on winning. It's fine. So we get over the hill, and I just feel like I'm just, flying at that point. All of a sudden, I feel like I have a really long, monstrously long stride. I feel like I was hitting someone, most of the beginning of that race. But, I'm just, flying down this hill. I'm like, okay, we're feeling good again. We're back. It's all good. And then, we got to that last quarter, and I'm just like, okay, this is, where the race happens. And I'm still mostly in front at this point. I see some people on my periphery, but I'm just, kind of focused on doing my thing, getting there. And I don't know exactly when it happened, but I remember, Parker kind of gets up on me and, actually passes me as, in front of me. And I'm just like, oh, dang, he's, really moving. I gotta, respond to this. And, I feel like I had this, moment of, doubt where I was just like, oh, God, I don't know if I can really get there. But I was like, that finish line is a lot further away, actually, than I think it is. Okay. And I think I kind of had this, other moment of just, giving it all I had and just, really pushing through and managing to slip past Parker and get the win. So.
I mean, that is something that we have to, all of us, no matter what level you're at, there's that moment of, can I do it? Should I do it? I'm going to do it type thing. A lot of people say, turn your brain off, stop thinking and just run, right? But you have to think when you know it's still a ways out, and you were obviously kind of calculating your kick.
100%. My coach had told me, it's the person who wins Fifth Ave is the last guy to kick. And I was like, I don't know if that's true based on how Josh won last year. But it kind of was. In the end, I was my last kick was kind of at that very last moment is kind of what did it. And, you're always going to have those moments, but it's about having that positive talk behind that where it's just but we can do this. It's going to be hard, but you got to choose to do the hard thing,
Well, people want to know if you look up at the street signs and count down the blocks. It's 20 city blocks, basically from 80th to 60th on Fifth Ave. Did you look at those?
I tried a little at the very beginning, but I think it was just much harder to see than I thought it was gonna be, and I was
going so fast. It is a blur.
I cannot just be turning my head mid-race, hello. But no. I mean, I think that would have it's counting the seconds in a day. It's I think that would have gotten in my head a little bit.
It really goes so fast. Do you know that 23 men broke 4 minutes today?
23. Oh, is that the whole field, or is it
basically the whole field? Our final runner today ran 4 flat 0.6 or something like that. I mean, it's just amazing. The sport really is changing, isn't it?
100%. I think everyone's been running really, really fast, and it's just so deep these days. Whereas, before, I think, especially when I was starting my pro career, it didn't feel like that. It felt like it was just like some really good guys and then like not as much depth. That's really awesome. I feel like, especially given the conditions too, it wasn't like ideal out there.
Was it slippery? We were wondering. Could you feel a kickback or not really?
Not really. I will say.
There was quite a bit of rain this morning.
There was, but I think like once the race started, I feel like I was kind of like locked into it. I think before I was kind of like whining in my head of just like, oh, it's wet and I'm cold and it's raining. Wow. But I think, once the race started, the adrenaline kind of took over for that. So yeah, I didn't really feel anything. Even going down the hill, I thought that's where it was going to be like a really slippery, but it wasn't really that.
We know you like to run well here in New York. You went to the Millrose Games last year, set the world record indoors for the mile. It was later broken that week, but it's just amazing how well you run here. Like, do you feel the love of the city?
I do, honestly. I feel like New York, I've always really just enjoyed visiting as a place. It just always feels like there's so much to do, and like so many people here are like fans of mine. It's kind of crazy. Like anytime I go run in Central Park, I'm guaranteed to get stopped at least once.
So fun.
And it is fun, and just like seeing everyone afterwards and like signing as much as I could anyway, it was really really fun too. But yeah, no, I feel like my coach was saying like, oh, you're like undefeated in New York. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So,
all these things to chase.
No, yeah. I mean, I've only done like 3 Millroses and then this, but it's still really cool. And I really, really do like this city a lot.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, your whole team does well here in New York, and they have always loved Dathan Ritzenheim and the Athletics Club. But okay, let's talk a little bit about how you got into the sport. I mean, anyone that's watched you now at the World Champs or the Olympic Games, they know your family is usually in the crowd and very big supporters of yours. But I think it's later in your early high school, 9th, 10th grade is really kind of when you started in the sport, right?
No, yeah, I didn't really start until 9th grade with track and cross country or anything that first year. And yeah, it was really like more of a happenstance sort of thing where like I was running these fast miles in PE, and then like my PE coach tells the track coach, and he comes to me and he's like, oh, you should run track. And I was like, not really my thing. Like, also I'm on the bowling team. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But he was very persuasive, luckily. And I really just fell in love with it like so quickly. Just, not just that I was like okay at it, but also just, like the teammates and friends I made just very, very quickly. No one told me about cross country afterwards. I was kind of like, oh, there's another track in the fall? And they're like, yeah, like basically.
Yeah, you just got to run on the grass and up and down hills and all.
And like 5K instead of like 1 mile. It's great. And I was like, oh, this is different. But no, yeah, I really enjoyed just running even in high school, I feel like. And even though I didn't picture it like as a pro career for myself, I'm glad that I just get to have the opportunity to just continue to do it.
Do what you love.
Yeah.
Do you think your mom or dad would have been an athlete? Because
my dad says he would have been if he had different opportunities and whatnot. They both came from Ethiopia when they were like 18, 20, and then been working ever since. Right. But yeah, my dad's like, no, I could have been like a soccer player or like a runner for sure. And I was like, maybe, but
yeah,
you weren't. Sorry.
It's so interesting though. I just find it fascinating to hear, the backstory of an athlete and to wonder if the mom and dad didn't do it, could they have if they had the opportunity? It sounds like your dad would have liked maybe an opportunity to do it. My dad played was a college football player, but my mom never had the opportunity. And so I always wonder, like, where'd this come from? Maybe it was my grandparents. Who knows? But we know that this week also has the World Championships. So, and you're not there. We're thankful that you're here, but I know that we would love for you to be representing the U.S. So tell us about that. How's your heart? Like, were you excited to be here? Was it torn? Were you torn?
No, yeah, I was pretty excited to be here, actually. I think, Zurich was kind of like my last chance to make it. And when that didn't work out, I was kind of just like, definitely a little bummed, but I feel like I'd gotten most of my, like, I don't know, grieving that I didn't make the team out, like, at USA's, and I was kind of just like, well, I'm glad I had one more shot to do it, but, it is what it is. And I think coming here, I'd done all these races where there was, like, a lot of pressure to, like, perform well and, like, really get the most out of myself, but, I really felt like ending on a race where, I could just go out and enjoy it more. Like, I really do want to win, of course, but there's less stakes. It's more just like, oh, just a road race to like end the season at like a really fun meet that everyone has a good time at.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that I've already kind of have gotten over my
processed
unfortunate, circumstances that from USA's. But, I think it's definitely going to fuel me next year. But I think coming into this race, I just wanted to be like, just have fun. Like, that's what I always talk about.
Well, and being fifth at our USA's right now is still very, very good. And it was very fast. I mean, it wasn't like it was a race that you shouldn't be proud of. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I led like almost all of that
Yes.
race because I wanted it to be fast. And I'm glad I ran the race I wanted. Like, there's still a lot of things about that race that I'm like really happy about. I think it was just kind of like, a lot more guys that are a lot better than you think. And then, like, that's kind of what happens. But really proud of that team that is going. I'm sure they're all going to make it to the final and do great. So,
Yeah. Well, we were so thankful you came here. We know that now it's break time. Like,
yes.
you and your boyfriend are heading on a trip. Where are you going? What are you doing? Can you tell us?
Yes. We were going to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. Very, very fun place that we've heard of anyway.
Yeah.
I've never been, but my sister has great things to say about it.
So fun.
And we've never had a trip that wasn't running related in some way. So I think it's going to be really, really fun for both of us, and I won't have to run or anything.
Yeah.
So,
Leave your running shoes here in New York?
Oh, no, not here. I mean,
You're going to still take them with you?
yeah, I'm going to need those eventually.
Okay. So what's the goal for this next year? Because listen, we've had an Olympic Games in 21, World Championships in 22 and 23, then Olympic Games 24, World Champs in 25. Next summer,
the break summer,
It's
summer of
us.
rest. I mean, they are doing that whole World Champs Ultimate thing, but
Yes.
you don't have to like qualify for that as much, so
Okay.
it's a little different.
little breather.
But it is kind of nice to not, be as making a team focus. I think it gives a lot of opportunities for people to just mix things up,
Yep.
like do something different, and there not really any like real consequences for it. So it's gonna be really, really cool. I think I'll probably do not a ton of different things. I still want to perform generally well, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely want to, fix some things that might have been wrong this year and just like really get the best out of myself next year.
There's not much you can fix, buddy.
Yeah.
You do
Thanks.
dang well. A couple of quick questions. Everyone talks about the turtle. When does he go into hibernation?
He'll be going in around like Thanksgiving.
Turtle, right?
Yes, but or tortoise. I was gonna say.
Oh.
Yeah, he's technically a tortoise. He doesn't swim, but
Oh, I
yeah,
see. Okay.
little
It's
pedantics.
technicalities.
Yeah. But he's been enjoying the last few days of summer
Nice.
a lot. I think he kind of like once like October rolls around, that's kind of when he starts like getting a little more groggy and whatnot.
Oh.
But
Like us all.
yeah, so I think it's like winter.
Yes.
Only I could sleep like 3 months. Like just passed out.
So true.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's fun. I think I've seen a video of how you help him hibernate and all that fun
Yes.
stuff. Very cool. If you need to check that out. Books. What are you going to be reading? Because everyone loves that you read and do all these other things besides just run.
Yeah, I'm actually about to start this book called The Lies of Locke Lamora, fantasy book that one of my teammates really recommended. But yeah, I mostly just read fantasy. Honestly, I haven't read anything that has been fantasy in a long time. Just because I really love like the idea of just submersing yourself into a new world and whatnot. So that'll be my next thing, and then The Will of the Many after that. So.
Oh my goodness. You plan those like you plan your races pretty
No,
far
I
out.
have like a list where I'm just like when I tell someone like, oh, I'm gonna put this on my list, like I mean it. It is going on a list, and I will get to it. 'Cause I'm only have like 5 more things on the list right now. So
Oh my gosh, I love it. So calculated, just like you are when you're racing.
Exactly.
But yet as free and nice as can be. So thank you for putting on a wonderful show and for being a kind human being. It's so fun to watch you because we all love rooting for you.
Of course, yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This was really, really a fun meet.
Peloton is the race training partner you've been missing. From beginner-friendly walks to advanced interval runs, Peloton's classes are designed to meet you where you are and help you get where you want to go. Whether you're preparing for a marathon or just trying to improve your pace, you'll train smarter, build strength, and stay motivated, all with expert-led instructor guidance. Ready to level up your race training? Head to onepeloton.com/race-training to learn more. Peloton, an official partner of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon.
Gracie, I mean, amazing job today. You must be just flying high. 3rd fastest time ever. And also now the new champion of the Fifth Avenue Road Mile.
I'm so excited. The season's been going well, but I wasn't really expecting this today. And I honestly, when I crossed the finish line, had no clue what time I'd run.
Yeah.
So,
Well, either did we actually. I've done commentary for years, and It was so fun to watch you race. The way you raced, Alicia Montano was on the call with me, and she said you read Carissa Schweitzer like a book. And you know what? She's tied the record last year. She tied it with Laura Muir, and that was a big thing that she had talked about. Did you talk at all about time?
No, my coach was like he told me to key off Carissa.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of trying to like see what she was doing. I figured it would probably be a similar race plan to last year, and I feel like it went out pretty similar.
Yeah, you guys took it out hard. Let's kind of walk through it 400 by 400. So you have 4 400s, right? Not 3, 4. And the first 400, talk about that.
I was just trying to stay relaxed. I knew I needed to get out, and like this race, I was like, do not look at the clock.
Yeah.
Just because you're running downhill, so you're flying. So I just trying to stay calm and get to the front. I knew I needed to find Carissa.
Yeah.
She was gonna be there, and then next 400, she started going for the halfway bonus.
Did you know?
I didn't know she was going to, but she surged, and I was like, okay, she's very clearly going for that, and so I just tried to stay where I was because I was like, I don't want anything to do with that.
And it is uphill.
Yeah.
Second quarter is really, I mean, it looks flat. Fifth Ave looks flat, but you have to climb. You got to dig deep.
You do. So I just stayed relaxed up that quarter, and then the goal was to make it to 1200 because my coach was like, that's where the race starts. So once she did that, I kind of started pressing into that 1200.
Yeah.
And I slowly just started reeling her in, and then it kind of gave me some more momentum that last 400.
Last 400.
Yeah.
So it was really at about, 300 meters, right? Before the 200 meter mark, you were up there, even in front of her, I think, already by then, right?
I think so.
Was it scary? Like, this is a big race. Last year, you were 5th here. So you were the second top returner, if you can follow that. So Carissa was the top returner. She was first. And then 2nd through 4th did not return. And you were the next one that returned. So when you cross the tape, what does that feeling feel like? This is a big race to win. A lot of greats have won here. A lot of greats have come here and haven't won here. But you did.
It was just very satisfying to like end the season here and like take the win too. And again, like I've been working on like building my confidence and like kind of just feeling like I belong like with these women. So adding this to the resume definitely is helping with that.
You definitely belong. So what has it been like since we're just a couple hours after the race? What have you done since cracking the tape and doing your post-race interview?
Really nothing. I had drug testing.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got back here, I had to shower and then come straight here. So
yeah, you're just busy.
I've been busy.
I want to hear a little bit about the drug testing because I love that New York Roadrunners does this. You know, they take their races and they bring in USADA or WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency or the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, and they randomly pick people in the race, and you and Yared, our winner, both got picked. So tell us a little bit about that. You have to go and pee in a cup, basically. But I mean, it can be a hard process. It seemed like it went pretty well.
It was smooth this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just always hard after a race.
I know.
You feel dehydrated after a process. But yeah, they just kind of follow you around until you're ready to go to the bathroom.
But isn't it nice that they do that?
Yeah.
And we want to have a clean sport. And it's a lot. It takes a lot of money. And I'm just thankful that New York Roadrunners does that.
Yes,
you know,
me too.
brings clean athletes here.
Yes, no, it's definitely good for the sport.
It is. Now what? What's the rest of the day like for you?
Probably gonna go to the after party.
Yeah, eat a little something.
Eat a little something. One of my friends was already like telling me she wants to take a shot with me. So.
Oh, nice.
And then after that, one of my best friends lives in New York, so I'm gonna go get dinner with her.
Okay, fun. Well, I want to hear a little bit about who you are, where you grew up, and how you got to this stage where you are now the Fifth Avenue Mile winner. I mean, and that will be a big highlight on your resume. So how'd you get into the sport?
My brother's first grade teacher, her husband was a track coach for like a summer team, and she saw us like running around at recess and was like basically, I guess, kind of recruiting us to the team. So my mom took us out, and that was how we started.
Yeah. And then you went to college and ran?
I started at University of Texas, and I transferred after a year and a half to TCU, and the smaller environment was really good for me. A good transition, and I feel like I kind of started finding myself toward like in running, and I had some pretty big improvements. And then after college, I signed with Puma Elite out in North Carolina, coached by Amy and Alistair Craig. And just being in that environment and surrounded by like all those runners who like just have so much to their name, and like everybody's just like aiming to be like one of the best in the world. So it's just definitely like helped elevate me this season.
Did both your coaches, Amy and Alistair Craig, run here at the Fifth Ave? I mean, I know that they've run. New
I know
York Road and
Alistair
races.
has. I'm not sure about Amy.
I feel like Amy was kind of one of those athletes that could run the marathon and run the 1500 and, do it all. But how cool is that? That your coaches, Alistair and Amy Craig, both world-class athletes, both Olympians, both been to the world championships. What does it mean to have that advice coming into a big event like this?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes it so much more relatable. Like, they've lived and experienced what I'm going through, and like that just gives me so much more trust. Like I know like what they're saying is like true. It's not somebody that's like thinks they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, today we were talking about how this is a melting pot of a city, right? Like any type of person from anywhere around the world can be here, and they live here. But also the mile today was sort of a melting pot of distance runners or middle distance runners. So you are sort of an 8:15 gal. You're coming up in distance to run the mile. Maybe not coming up, but you're more of an 800-meter runner, at least right now. It seems like it. Now you're moving up. But then you have Carissa Schweitzer, who you're chasing down, who's a 10,000-meter runner, 5,000-meter runner, and can also run very fast over the mile. So how fun is that when you're here? And even like steeplechasers are out there. Did you think about that today, or not really? It's just another body you have to beat.
It was kind of just another body I have to beat. The way we train now, I'm coming more from a strength background.
Yeah.
So I knew like being on the roads is going to play more to my favor. And I've had quite a few road miles this year.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew what to like expect.
Are you thinking you're more a miler now?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. We set up definitely more for 15-mile this year.
Yeah.
So maybe in a future year we'll focus more on the 8. But
Okay. So where do you go from here? Are you on a break after this?
yes.
So officially, like how long? 1 week, 2 weeks?
Probably 2 weeks. Not completely off the whole time, but
Yeah.
definitely a few days.
Take some time,
Yes.
regroup. I mean, maybe even more so mentally than physically, and then get ready. What's up for next year?
We haven't really talked about it yet. My coaches are very like be present, like in the moment.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of ourselves. So haven't really discussed that, but hopefully some bigger races next year and just some faster times.
Well, now that this podcast is done and you have had it sink in just even, 15 more minutes, what was the highlight of the day? Was it cracking the tape, making that move, getting interviewed? What is it?
My best friend was like at the finish line. So like once I finally got through the media, she was like right there, and we had to hug. So that was cool, like having somebody there.
Yeah. Well, I said to you walking in here, I said, I think when you watch that race, you're going to be so proud of yourself. The power that you had behind your stride today, the arm carry, like everything was like, whoa, you have entered the world of professional distance running and middle distance running, and you did it in style today, lady. Way to go. Well, that's it for today's Set the Pace. Back to Rob and Bex again next week. But I want to just say thanks so much to Gracie and Yared. You guys put on such a great show. It was so much fun to watch you race. And like I say on my own podcast, See Tally Run, make sure to get after it.